It really has been beautiful outside. I feel like I haven't taken enough advantage of being outdoors. And so I've been trying really hard the last 2 weeks to get outside every day. And I honestly feel like one of those rechargeable batteries, it must have been like almost out. And then every time I go outside, it gets fuller and fuller until I feel like fully recharged. It's really quite profound. I feel like nature is the great neutralizer for anything that we're going through. It can really help reduce stress. So I highly encourage it. Trying to practice what I preach. So today we will use a yoga blanket or a thick blanket of some sort and your 2 yoga blocks. And and that's it. And we'll start, you can sit on your block or you can straddle 2 blocks, which helps take pressure off of the knees. You can straddle 1 block or 2. That is kind of a nice way. It just depends what feels best. If you straddle 2, it takes pressure off your kneecaps. If you straddle 1 block, you can also always put a blanket behind your knees just to kind of give a little extra cushion. So whatever works for you this morning. We'll be sitting for a couple of minutes, so make sure you're comfortable. And if at any point in time you need to adjust or move, then great, go for it. So today's class is the season of spring as a blessing and a teacher. And we have lots of seasons, right? We've got our 4 major seasons, and then we often mirror those seasons internally inside of ourselves. Sometimes they match the external season, and sometimes they don't because of whatever it is that we're going through. But for every season, there's a beginning and a middle and an end, right? Everything's always changing, always in flux. So we enjoy the seasons that we feel are pleasant, and then we call on our resilience and our strength and our trust to get through the seasons that aren't comfortable. So we're going to start with Samavriti, which is a breathing technique, which just means equal breath. And that means we breathe in to whatever count is comfortable until our lungs are full. And then as soon as our lungs are full, we just start to exhale. And you can do this through your nose if your nose is clear, or you can choose to exhale through your mouth, whatever feels natural for you. But the idea is that we breathe in smoothly, calmly till we're full. As soon as we're full, we just start to let that breath go. As soon as we feel empty or almost empty, we breathe in again. And think of the breath as a circle without any breaks. And I also think of it as an ocean wave, a really beautiful, calm ocean wave that comes in. As soon as it's done coming in onto the beach, it just immediately starts to flow back out. This ebb and flow that's always moving. So try to think of your breath like that, just connected. Inhales and exhales connected. Just like one season is connected and gives in to the next season. So we'll start with that. You can close your eyes if you want, or you can leave them open. I do recommend that you might start with your hand on your belly so that you can just feel the breath initiating in the lower area where the diaphragm is. And if you have some yoga, pranayama, or breathing experience, you might even use ocean sounding breath by breathing in through your nose with your throat kind of constricted so that it sounds like, but your mouth is closed. But if that's not familiar to you, don't worry about it. If your mind starts to wander, bring it back to following the ebb and flow of your breathing. Without changing the pace of your breath, take 3 more rounds. And when you're complete with your equal breath, you can let your hands rest on your lap. And we'll begin with this beautiful poem by Alden Solovy. And we will embody aspects of this poem today. It's called For Spring. Shimmering, radiant air, alive with new warmth. Sunshine waking the earth, calling the grasses to grow and bulbs to prepare flowers. Winds clear the remnants of seasons past, old leaves and dry branches making way for new life. And the rain joins the sun to feed the land. Bless this day, God of seasons. Bless the spring with energy and hope. Be present with us as we celebrate the glory of creation, planting the land and our lives with your gifts, these gardens of holiness and love. God of time and space, may this season be a blessing and a teacher. Make me like the sunshine, a source of light. Make me like the earth, flowing with bounty, ready to give. Bless my days with service and my nights with peace. Make me like a garden, a source of beauty and purpose, sustenance and splendor. Amen. So we're going to embody aspects of this poem and find what resonates with us, what might come out of taking certain shapes and embracing certain words, and see what lands for us. We're going to, from our seated position, we'll just start with our sun breath. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up, but wiggle your fingers. I want you to wiggle your fingers like they're shimmering. And then exhale, hands to the heart. Again, inhale, shimmering, radiant air. Inhale, shimmering, twinkling fingers. Exhale, let it all go. We'll do a couple of twists. So inhale, shimmering fingers. And then exhale, twist to the right. Let those fingers keep shimmering all the way down till you touch the floor or the ground. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twist to the other side. Inhale to center. One more round, exhale to the other side. Inhale. And exhale, twist to the last side. Inhale, back to center. Exhale your arms halfway down. So this is going to really warm up your arms. You're going to drop your shoulders down away from your ears and press through your palms. And we're going to do some circles here. Nice, gentle, slow circles, which are going to feel very warm very quickly. So shimmering, radiant air, alive with new warmth. We're going to pause and reverse your circles. Draw the tips of your shoulder blades together. Pull your navel in. Watch out for flaring rib cages. Make sure they're tucked back over your hips. Ooh, we're going to change direction one more time. This direction. Keep breathing. And then last time, change direction. Good. And then let your arms float down. Ooh, and then circles with the shoulders. Feel that warmth that you just cultivated there. Good. From here, we'll do some neck articulations just to release any tension here. So you'll bring your right ear to your right shoulder without force. Just let it tilt down. Take a breath. And then just turn your neck so you look down toward your right side, either toward your right shoulder or the mat. Just turning the head. Good. Now turn the head to look forward again, but your neck is still down, right? Your right ear is still toward your right shoulder. And then tilt your chin back just a little bit, like you're tipping water out of your ear on the right side. Big breath. Now start to roll your chin towards your chest until your chin is in the center of your chest. And then imagine you have a pin to write with, or a paintbrush on the bottom of your chin. And I just want you to draw a line from one side of your shoulder, your clavicles, your collarbones, to the other side. Just a couple of times. Nice and slow. So it's a little different than rolling the head from side to side. It's like you're drawing with your chin. And then start to bring the left ear to the left shoulder. Let it hang there for a moment. Take a deep breath. And keeping your left ear toward your left shoulder, you're just going to turn your nose, turn your head toward the left side of your mat. So you might feel this in the front of your neck, or maybe even in the back behind your ear. That's where I feel it. If your neck's kind of tight, you might feel it there. Good. Turn your head to look forward again, but your ear is still tilted. And then lift your chin up just a little bit, emptying out that water from the left ear. And breathe. Good. Start to bring your chin forward. And once again, just draw a couple of lines from right to left, nice and slow, releasing the neck. And then go ahead and look straight ahead and just notice how your neck feels. You might turn it, noticing any change there. We're going to now come to our knees for cat and cow. So if you were on a blanket, you can move that off to the side. So come to hands and knees. And if at any time your wrists get sore, you can always take a break and do some wrist circles. You can also come to your fingertips or knuckles for cat and cow to take pressure off the wrist joint. So just checking in with how your spine feels today. Connecting the movement to your breath. Inhaling as the back is in a hammock or arch shape, and exhaling as it comes into cat or rainbow. You can even play with some side bending to stretch the ribs. And then I'd like you now to walk your hands forward about 6 to 8 inches. We're going to take puppy pose. And then you'll leave your buns in the air, but bring your chest and forehead down toward the floor. So we're looking to keep our arms straight, not without any bend in the elbows. And crawl your fingers forward as much as you can. And press into the floor and stretch the diaphragm, the front of the rib cage. Take some full deep breaths and let them out. bring in some of Riti or equal breath here. So breathe in to a certain count, whatever works for you. And then let it out for the same count. Let's do one more. Good, letting that go. Now you'll start to bring your hips towards your heels just a little bit. Your hands are going to slide back toward you. And then come up back to all fours. And your hands won't be directly under your shoulders. They're going to be out in front of your shoulders just a little bit. And the reason we want them there is we're going to come forward so that we're in a modified plank pose. So my hips just came forward and now my shoulders are over my wrists, which places them in just the right spot to start to bend my elbows and lower down. So you want to pull your belly in and lower yourself down as slow as you can to your belly, and then straighten yourself out. You can bring the tops of your feet to the mat and keep your hands where they are, close to your rib cage and just about halfway down your ribs. Bring your elbows together. So I want you to think of magnets in your inner elbows, and they're just drawing their energy toward each other. Pull your belly up. So think of that magnetic energy from your belly button connecting to your spine as well. And with your body, your lower body nice and firm, squeezing the legs, you're going to inhale and come into a baby cobra. Inhale, and then as you exhale, lower down. So keep that connection with your core. Slide your shoulders down your back. Bring those elbows together. Inhale, come up. So thinking of lower down when you're done. Thinking of your lower body as this bulb planted in the soil. And every time you inhale, reach up, you're growing. That bulb is starting to sprout and grow toward the sun. Let's do one more. Rooting that pelvis into the soil, into the mat as you lift up. And pause here. You might float your hands off of the mat to make sure that you're really working the spinal muscles. And then lower down. You can press yourself up from your hands into child's pose, or you can come to your forearms and with your belly pulled in, lift up that way. That's a little easier on the wrists, and come into your child's pose to release that back bend. Go ahead and take a really big breath in and let out a sigh. Any sound you want to make. You could even flutter your lips. Whatever sound would help release any stress. Anything in the way of your practice today that is a distraction. That keeps you from tending this fertile soil of your soul. Good. We're going to come back up to hands and knees again, this time to warm up our hips. So again, if you need to come to knuckles for your wrists, you can. We're going to bring those knees right under the hips. I'm going to start to bring my left knee into the midline of my mat just a little bit to give me more stability, and then extend the right leg out with the foot flexed. Engage your belly. Watch for that lower back sinking down toward the floor. You want to inflate those kidneys. Think of the lower back inflating up toward the sky a little bit. Good. Now point your toes. Breathe here. Now flex your foot. And as your foot is flexed, bring your heel in toward your gluteal muscles, like you're trying to touch your heel to your butt. Good. Now point your toes and extend. And do that a few times. Flex, curl, point, extend. Flex, curl, point, extend. Good. Now you can do whatever you want with your foot, because we're going to actually bring our knee out to the side like a fire hydrant pose, dog with a fire hydrant, and make some circles. Make those circles nice and big. And And reverse, warming up the tissue for our standing poses today. Keep your belly pulled in. Last one. Ah, yay. Okay, now you can sit back on your heels and release your wrists or take a child's pose, whatever feels right for you. I'm pressing the tops of my hands into my mat just to release, giving a little shake. So we'll take the second side of hip warmer-uppers. So come back to hands and knees and extend the left leg. So your hips are square to the floor. So you want to make sure that left hip's not kind of tilting up toward the sky. You want it just shining straight down to the floor. Point your toes on the left side. Extend, breathe. Good. Go ahead and keep breathing. Flex your foot. Curl your foot in towards your butt. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze that hamstring. Point your toes and extend. Flex, curl. Give it a really good squeeze, like you have a towel between your, in the back of your knee. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Point, extend. Flex, curl, curl, point, extend. Yay. Okay, now we're gonna bend the knee, bring it out to the side, and start to do some circles. If you've lost the connection to your core, re-engage. Get those circles as big as you can, and then reverse your circles. Last one. And release. Go ahead and let this go any way that feels right for you. Child's pose, shaking it out, whatever feels good. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and take our time coming up to standing at the top of your mat or wherever, center of your mat. We are going to work with this line called "Winds clear the remnants of seasons past, making way for new life." So winds blowing the remnants of our seasons past. The twigs, the branches, the dead leaves, making room for new life. So we're going to do our twist, and usually we tap our chest and our lower back. This time, I want you to let those arms be really free. So maybe they'll be a little more out to the sides. Do make sure that you lift your heel as you twist. So you've got a nice full twist. Full deep breaths. Think of winds cleaning the remnants of seasons past, just washing them away. Letting whatever you're ready to let go of, let it be released. Make your breath sound like wind. So take a deep breath and then shush it out. Let's do one more. And then the winds start to calm down. You can come to stillness. Notice how you feel. So now we will plant some seeds of blessing and intention. So you can stand with your feet under your hips in a way that feels balanced, and bring your hands in front of you. And imagine now you've washed away, you've blown away the season past, you've let go of what you don't need. And take a moment to choose a word or a phrase, this seed of blessing, And when you're ready, blow it into your hands. Just blow it into the palms of your hands. Maybe you have a couple of seeds. And then hold those seeds, those intentions in your palms together. Rub your hands together. And then we're going to plant the seeds. So I want you to start tapping these intentions into the top of your head, down into the shoulders, thinking of those words or intentions, tap them into the body. It's like you're just putting them just a ½ inch under the soil where they're going to be planted and receive sunlight and water and all the nourishment that you need, maybe from friends and family, from your spiritual community, from your faith, something bigger. Just tap it in, tap in your intention. Making this environment for new life. Let your hands rest at your heart and your belly. And now we're going to move into some powerful standing poses. So let's take Warrior 2 first. And what I'll have you do is we'll start with our right leg as our front leg. And I want you to put your blocks on either side of that right foot. So we're going to step the right foot forward, bring the left leg back, come into your deep knee bend, whatever works for you. Find your stability here in Warrior 2. And so your block, the front block is going to be close to your ankle. And extend your arms and breathe. Look out over that right arm. Pull the navel in, draw the tips of the shoulder blades together. So you can, if your shoulders will allow you to, you can clasp your hands behind your back and reach down with your hands, or you can take opposite elbows. And if those aren't accessible today, you can also just reach back as much as you can, opening the heart while the belly's pulled in. And just start to pulse, bending into the pose with your front knee and coming out. Just bending and releasing. We're going to go ahead and come into that bent knee shape. And from here, take side angle. So your right hand is going to come down to the right, the inner block, or your forearm can just rest on your thigh. Try not to just put all your weight, though, on the support. You really want to use your core here. And this is just a little support. And reach the left arm up. You can stay just like this, or you can extend the left arm at an angle. Think of drawing a nice diagonal line from your fingers of your left hand all the way to the edge of your left foot. Keep that back leg really active. I want you to think of it as roots to like a tender little plant that's starting to grow, right? We want to root them down so they have the support to grow up. Breathe here. Good. Come back to Warrior 2. Now we're going to windmill those arms down to either side of that front foot, and your blocks are here for you on either side, and come to the toes of the back leg. So we're in a lunge now. If this becomes too much for your body today, you can always come to your knee and release your back toes, okay? So we're coming into our lunge. If you need to walk your right foot out to the side a bit, just to create more stability, do what you need to do. Once you feel stable, you can start to press into your thigh and rise up. If this still feels stable, you can bring your arms up. And then cactus arms. And let your heart just shine out and up. Good. We're going to use our blocks for support. I'm going to pull my front foot back a bit toward me, which gives me room to bring my back leg up. It's a little easier. And then just come into a forward fold that works for you. Bent knees is fine. Release the weight of your head. And then press into your feet. Suck the belly button in and start to come up with a flat back. And we're going to take the second side. So the left leg is our front leg. Blocks on either side of the front foot. Make sure you turn that back leg inward a bit, but not so much that you lose the connection with your foot on the mat. Come into your warrior two. Pull the belly button in and up. Bring your wings behind you together. And if it feels right for you to clasp your hands to get a little more of a heart opener here, you can do that in whatever way works for you today. And then start to pulse that front leg, just giving the quads and hips some extra heat. Release your hands, come back into your warrior two. And side angle from here. So either hand's going to come to that inside block or to your inner thigh, left arm up or diagonally over the head. Root through the back leg. Big, full, deep breaths. Pull the navel in, roll the chest forward or up toward the sky. Good. Press into your feet, pull the navel in, and float your arms back to warrior two. And then windmill those arms down to your blocks. Come onto the toes of the back foot and do what you need to do with the front leg. If you have to reestablish a connection that feels more stable, go ahead and take your time doing that. I want you to really press through the back heel. So that's going to give you extra stability. Squeeze your quad, your thigh of your back leg, and press through the back heel. And then when you're ready, maybe you'll bring your hands to your front thigh, just pressing down into the thigh and forward, which is going to give you a nice stretch in your hip flexor. You can always stay with your hands on the block. Whatever works for you today, it's your practice. Another offering would be to lift up those arms and bring them into cactus pose. Keep breathing. Bring your hands to your blocks if they're not already there. I like to slide that front foot back underneath me a bit more and then step the back foot forward. Let yourself relax, release into this forward fold. Maybe rocking from side to side or swaying. Good. Now pull the belly in. Bring your hands to the tops of your thighs or right above your knees and press yourself up with a flat back. Very nice. You can move your blocks to the center of your mat. So my mat is lengthwise, and I'm going to put them right in front here for Prasarita, wide-legged forward fold when we get there. Before we do that, we're going to come into star pose. So star pose, our toes are pointed toward 10 and 2 on a clock face. The knees are straight, but not hyperextended, so you can have a little bend in them if you need to. And bring your arms up so your body's in an X shape of an X. So gaze upward and bring some radiance back into those fingers, this shimmering radiant light. Star pose. So let's embody the star that brings us life, the sun, right? Breathe into star pose. Make me a source of light. And then bend your knees. Bring your hands to your heart. Nice deep bend in the knees. Make me like the earth, full of bounty and ready to give. So let's bring the arms out, full of bounty, ready to give. And then back to star. Make me like the sun, source of light. Hands to the heart, knees bend. Make me like the earth, full of bounty and ready to give. Back to star pose. Make me like the sun, a source of light. Back to goddess pose. Bend the knees, hands to the heart. Make me like the earth, full of bounty, ready to give. Reach those arms out. Feel yourself giving of your own unique gifts, your own heart. And I'll have you do this on your own one more time. When you're done, you can straighten your knees and bring your toes to face forward and hands on your hips, and we'll come forward into our Prasarita pose. Come down as much as you want to, as much as you can comfortably. You can use your blocks for your hands or even to hold your head, the top of your head. And just release, let go. You've set your intentions, you've planted your seeds. Now let it be. Now you rest. And let the seasons do what they do best. Bless this spring with energy and hope. Be present with us as we celebrate the glory of creation, planting the land and our lives with your gifts, these gardens of holiness and love. We're going to start to heel toe the feet together just until you feel stable, and then bring your hands to your hips and go ahead and come on up. Bring your feet under your hips. Good. And then we'll come to a seat for a seated hip opener. So this is basically figure 4 pose. Instead of being on your back, we do it seated. If it's not accessible for you or doesn't work for you, feel free to come onto your back and do it the way we've done it before. I like to sit on the edge of my blanket for this, just to give my hips a little bit of a tilt forward. It takes pressure off the lower back. So we'll start, if you're on your back, you can just start lying down, and then we'll stay with the same leg. So I'm going to straighten my left leg a little bit and try to get my right ankle up over my knee or thigh. And then I'll use my hands behind me to prop me up and start to flex that right foot and play with how close I want to bring my left leg to me, right? So the more I bend that left leg, the more of a hip opener I'm going to get on the right side. Some of you might stay even almost with a straight leg. So if you're using your arms as I am, you want to make sure that you press into the mat so that your heart opens and your shoulders stay in their girdles. if you're in the seated position, or even if you're lying down, you can play a little bit with moving the hips from side to side, noticing anything that piques your interest or any sensations. Maybe you'll pause and breathe into any of those spots. So if you're in a seated shape, we'll take this right to a seated twist. And if you're lying on your back, you can just hug your knees into your chest and choose a side to bring the knees over. So from seated hip opener, go ahead and hinge forward and just bring that left foot close to your butt, and then let the right foot come to the floor. So your foot's crossed over your knee. And then those of us that are seated, we're gonna hold on to the knee with the left arm and twist over to the right. So feeling the legs and the hips as if they're just under the soil, and your spine is this gentle, tender shoot that's starting to grow up toward the sun. Good. Everyone can come out of the twist. And if you need to shake out your legs, go for it. And then we'll change over to the other side. Sitting on the edge of the blanket, possibly the right leg is straight or almost straight, just enough so that we can get the left ankle over that thigh. And then figure out where your leg wants to be. Sometimes you'll start in one spot, and then after a few breaths, you realize, oh, I can lean back and bring that foot closer to me. So listening to your body, anything is enough. Just keeping the left foot flexed. Practicing samavriti, equal breath, breathing in, connecting it to the exhale. This is very soothing for the nervous system to practice equal breathing. Good. So if you're seated, we'll come into our seated twist. So just lean forward till you can get that left or right foot close to your bottom and that left foot on the ground. Hugging the knee close to you with the right hand or arm, go ahead and rotate to the left. And again, if you're in a a figure four on your back, you can just twist to the other side this time. Feel the seeds of your sits bones rooting down. And with every breath, your sprout of your spine grows taller and taller toward the sun. And then releasing your twist. Let your legs extend, give them a shake. And make sure your blocks are close by. We're going to come onto the back and bring the feet close to your bottom so you can almost touch your heels, possibly maybe with your middle finger. And bring your block the long, thin way. You're going to put it between the thighs and give it a squeeze. And if you squeeze the block and then suddenly it feels like your feet are kind of way out to the side, walk your feet in closer to each other. You're going to feel a little more alignment. You'll be able to sense that your feet are aligned under your knees probably by using the block. With the squeeze of the block, just do a couple of pelvic tilts, just creating an arch in the lower back and then tucking the tailbone upward and pressing the lower back into the floor, but don't lift your butt off the floor yet. Just do some rocking to release any tension in the lower back. Good. And now I want you to lift your toes and root down through the balls of your feet, the base of the toes, and then you can place your toes back down. And then start to tilt your tailbone up towards the sky and press into your flat feet and lift the hips up. You're still squeezing the block. And then bring your arms out to the side with your palms up. So we create a little external rotation in the shoulders to support nice open heart and chest. Keep squeezing the block, lifting your hips as much as you're comfortable doing. Breathe. Squeeze. And on your next exhale, start to float your hips down nice and slow. Good. You can remove the block and hug the knees into your chest. And then let the knees open if that's comfortable for you. You can take a happy baby by holding onto your feet or your shins, or just holding on to the knees and letting the legs go from side to side, getting into those inner thighs. And ankle rotations, releasing any tension in the feet and ankles. And then do some circles here with your hips. So I'm holding my knees. I'm going to bring my knees together and then in toward my chest, and then open the knees out to the side. Extend my arms, just my knees will go as far as my arms will let them, right? And then bring the knees back in. And just do that a little bit here, just to massage the hip joints. Relaxing into this and changing directions if you'd like to. And if this is not working for you, you do whatever feels right for you today. And then one final squeeze, 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 and then release your feet to the floor. So any inversion of your choice, which is that your head is below your heart, and that helps to balance the nervous system and really supports us physiologically, as well as bring fresh circulation to the heart and the brain and the lungs. So you can take a nice gentle one by placing the block under your hips. If that works for you, you could stay in supported bridge. This is a very gentle inversion. Or you can bring your legs up with your block under your hips. Or if you practice other inversion, like a half shoulder stand or something that you're really confident and feel comfortable doing, then take this time to do that. I will stay with the supported half shoulder stand or supported legs up pose. Stay here as long as you'd like. And or you can take another minute or two to move into any other shapes that would feel supportive of your body today. And then when you hear the sound of the bell, then that will be your invitation to begin to find Shavasana, to settle into a really comfortable position, maybe with a blanket under your knees or under your head. equal breathing. Allow the bell to invite you to a state of stillness and integration. Shimmering, radiant air, alive with new warmth. Sunshine waking the earth, calling the grasses to grow and bulbs to prepare flowers. Winds clear the remnants of seasons past, old leaves and dry branches, making way for new life. And the rain joins the sun to feed the land. Bless this day, God of seasons. Bless the spring with energy and hope. Be present with us as we celebrate the glory of your creation, planting the land and our lives with your gifts, these gardens of holiness and love. God of time and space, may this season be a blessing and a teacher. Make me like the sunshine, a source of light. Make me like the earth, flowing with bounty, ready to give. Bless my days with service and my nights with peace. Make me like a garden, a source of beauty and purpose, sustenance and splendor. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekor nefesh kol chai. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekor nefesh kol chai, for life, for health, for hope, for beautiful, bountiful blessings. All praise to the source. All praise to the source of being. Invite you to feel the weight of your body on your mat on this earth. And bring a hand to your heart and a hand to your belly. And take a moment to recall the seeds of blessing that you planted within your own body, mind, and soul. And know that they are already beginning to grow. Whenever you're ready, you can roll to your side, very gently pressing yourself up to a seated position. Baruch atah Adonai, mekor nefesh kol chai. Baruch atah Adonai, mekor nefesh kol chai. For life, for health, for hope, for beautiful, bountiful blessings. All praise to the source. All praise to the source of being. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be free. May all beings be loved. May all beings have peace. May it be so. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Shalom.